Hello everyone, I'm Nizzahon here for the Aether Hub, about to do another Amonkhet draft video. I will be back with you guys when this draft fires. Okay, so we opened basically the worst rare in the set, completely unplayable card, don't ever play it. But there are some other good cards in this pack that are not rare. Scaled Behemoth is pretty good, Baleful Ammit's pretty good, and so is Electrify. I'm leaning towards taking the removal. Both of these guys are good and all, but they're not removal. This guy, you know, he's kind of clunky. If you're, I mean, I've won some games with him for sure, and this guy can be quite good as well, but I think just taking the really good removal spell is something I'm fine with, and I like it more than Splendid Agony, which is probably the next best card in the pack after the Electrify and these two uncommons. Okay, Edifice of Authority is very good. And I think that's just what I take here. It turns into a removal spell pretty quickly. It's a great card. I think people are underrating it a little bit. Still keeps us pretty open as well. Cartouche of Zeal is good if you're in an aggressive deck, of course. Takrop Elite is a solid common as well. Spring to Mind is good if you can actually cast both halves. And, you know, Manticore the Gauntlet's fine. Hooded Brawler, but we're going to take Edifice of Authority. Okay. In terms of red stuff in the pack, I don't love most of it. I think Consuming Fervor is good in some red decks. This pack in general is pretty underwhelming, though. Binding Mummy is fine. Heckma Sentinels are fine. Impeccable Timing's fine. There's really nothing in this pack that I think is very good. Shadowstorm Vizier is close, but it's gold. So, I don't really know what I want here. And not for the good reason of having too many good cards around. I guess I'm just going to take the 2-drop. I think it's, you know, better than Consuming Fervor in most decks. There are definitely decks where Consuming Fervor is awesome, but we'll just take the 2-drop here. Okay, well, there's a Wayward Servant. We already have one zombie, so we could think about taking that. What are the red cards here? Because obviously if we try to go black-white, we're going to lose our Electrify unless we pick up some fixing. The red cards here are pretty reasonable, though. We've got Battlefield Scavenger and Thresher Lizard. Wayward Servant's tempting, but I think because we picked up an early Electrify, I think taking Battlefield Scavenger is probably a little better. I mean, it's not an incredible card, but I don't think Wayward Servant is either. Even if you end up with several zombies, he's good, but he's not, like, amazing. So yeah, let's take the Scavenger here. See if we go red-white aggro with some Exert shenanigans. Okay, so speaking of Exert shenanigans, we have True Heart Twins here, which is a pretty good card if you're planning on going wide and have a decent amount of Exert. This Cartouche is solid. Desert Ceradon's solid thanks to its cycling. Quarry Hauler and Initiate's Companion are both also pretty good. I think I'm going to take the True Heart Twins, though, and see if we can make an Exert thing work here. Don't really like this Monument at all. But Ceradon, Ceradon and True Heart Twins and Quarry Hauler are the things we're really looking at. And I think we'll take the True Heart Twins. Okay, well, that's interesting. I think we take Trial of Solidarity, but yeah, red's completely gone, so that's worth keeping in mind. Bitterblade Warrior is a solid card, but Trial of Solidarity I think is probably just the best card in this pack, especially if we end up with more things with Exert. Okay. Nimbleblade Kenra's fine, but I think Horror of the Broken Land still being here is a pretty good signal because that's a very strong card. Pyramid of the Pantheon's okay if we were really trying to fix. But I'm thinking of taking this Horror and seeing if black remains open enough. Nimbleblade Kenra's fine, but this is way better. And actually, I could just take Takrop Elite because it's also a pretty good card. Yeah, I guess I'll take it instead of trying to go into black here. Because Takrop Elite is, in fact, a pretty good card. Especially in conjunction with, like, Trial of Solidarity. Okay. Gonna take Anointer Priest here. It's not the most exciting of things, but, you know, it is white and we seem to be in that color. think the question is going to become, is red open enough? And, I mean, Manticore the Gauntlet is fine. It's just not exciting. Sparring Mummy is okay. We do have a few creatures with Exert, and we're probably going to pick up more in this color pair if we stay in it. So those are the two cards we're looking at. Flameblade Adept isn't very good. Doom Dissenter is good, though. Well, good's a strong word, but it's playable. So is Wander in Death. I think I'll take the Sparring Mummy and see if we end up with enough Exerters to play it. Okay, and now we get a Manticore of the Gauntlet anyway, which we'll go ahead and take. Okay, Consuming Fervor came back, and I think I will take it. If we're an aggro deck, it's a perfectly reasonable aura. Tormenting Voice is fine. 2 by Force is terrible and limited, but probably around for constructed purposes. We'll take this foil Consuming Fervor. Okay, we'll take Inno-Catcher's Name. We may end up in an aggressive enough deck that works. Those Who Serve is perfectly fine, and Sacred Cat's good too. Again, not good, but playable. So our deck is sort of working out. We could morph into a black-white zombie deck. If we'd picked up that Wayward guy, we probably would try a little harder to do that. But we do have Electrify, which is a very good red card. But our other red cards are less exciting. And we just opened Archfiend of Ifnir, and there's no way to pass that. It's too strong. It's one of the best bombs in the set. Crocodile of the Crossing is good, just to talk about the other stuff going on here. And so is Exemplar of Strength, but this is by far the best card, followed by these two guys. We will take the Archfiend and try to play black now. And based on our first pack, it's not clear which color will drop, but I think white seems more likely than red does. I mean, red seems more likely that will drop it than white does, where we have more playables already. We don't have anything with cycling yet, but now it's much better. So I wouldn't mind being able to splash this Electrify if we find a way to do that. But the rest of this stuff I could do without. We do have the one, if we were to play red instead, this allows us to loot. Okay, well, I think it's zombie time. This Time to Reflect may even come back to us if we try to take this zombie. Somebody did pick up the black-white gold card, which like zombies too. Cartouche of Ambition is solid, but we're going to take the Zombie Lord. We already have several zombies, and I think that's a good reason to take it. So we basically want zombies and things with cycling at this point. In fact, this is our only creature who is never going to be a zombie that we've taken so far. Well, other than the Archfiend. Okay. Well. Do we just pick up a Those Who Serve or a Dune Beetle? That's basically what we're looking at here. The red cards in this pack aren't especially good either, so Honed Kopesh is okay. The Green Monument, I think, is solid, but you have to be green, obviously. So it's either Dune Beetle or Those Who Serve at this point. Not very exciting. Honor Crop Captain's good if we switched back to red-white, I guess. Maybe that's what I'll take, since that could happen. And taking a Those Who Serve or a Dune Beetle, I mean, we're going to get cards like that the rest of this draft. So we'll take the red-white gold card. Okay, Grim Strider's solid. Cartouche of Solidarity is too. There's another Those Who Serve, so we're probably going to wheel at least one of those. I'll probably just take the Grim Strider. Still nothing with cycling, so got to pick that up soon. We do have another Inno-Catcher's Name, and it is pretty good. But I'm going to take this Grim Strider instead. Supernatural Stamina is actually a pretty good combat trick I could think about, though. We have a few creatures. Well, we don't have that many with Enter the Battlefield abilities, actually. Yeah, let's take the Strider. Okay. No cycling on cards in our colors. There's some decent red here, Nefcrop and Tangler. All three of these are decent red cards. But I'll probably just take another Anointer Priest. It seems perfectly fine to me. I like Hieroglyphic Illumination a lot, and I think the Priest will be better in our deck than Watchers of the Dead. Okay. Here's a card with cycling that's sort of in our color. We could turn into a black-red deck, potentially. Because this draft is kind of train wrecking on us here. We're just not getting cards in our colors, which means they may not be especially open from this side. So I'm thinking about taking the Ceradon in the event we switch to a black-red deck or something, or a red. It's fine in a red-white deck too. I don't really want another Sparring Mummy, so yeah, I'll take the Ceradon. Another True Heart Twins. Things are getting interesting now about what color we should be in. Those Who Serve, though, is perfectly solid, and I might just take it instead. Miasmic Mummy does cause discarding, which Archfiend of Ifnir likes, so that's not the worst. Maybe I'll just take him. Yeah, I'll take him. We're going to get more of Those Who Serve if we want them. Ooh, Fanbearer. Hello. Definitely what we take here. Yeah, I'll take a Festering Mummy. I don't know if it'll make our deck, but it is another zombie. Okay, time to reflect on how many zombies I have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sort of, 7, 8, 9, 10, sort of. I think time to reflect is going to be playable. I thought it might wheel, and it did. So that's good news, and it makes us really want zombies. And we're getting more zombie payoffs as we speak. So, and a decent 2-drop. So the ends of packs have been surprisingly good, and the beginning of packs have been sort of medium. Hey, full art land. Don't know that we're gonna be able to splash this, but what we still need. I mean, he's good if you don't have cycling. Admittedly, is more ways to either discard cards or cycle things. Trial of Zeal and Cartouche of Strength, the two best cards in their respective cycles. That's hard. Okay, I think we might want to take something like Wander in Death. There's also Jeru's Resolves. We probably can pick those up near the end of the pack and can just take something like Unwavering Initiate now. Trial of Zeal is definitely the best card in this pack, followed by Cartouche of Strength. But, you know, the ship has sailed on us playing red, I think. And we've never been thinking about playing green. So I think I'm just going to take the little Unwavering Initiate who turns into a zombie, even though he's not always one. Okay, Gravedigger is great, but we actually really need removal, so I'm leaning towards taking Final Reward and hoping one of these two things wheel, but we really do need removal, so we're going to take Final Reward here. Ooh, another Lord of the Accursed. Yes, please. Wouldn't mind a Top Crop Elite coming back, or even Unburden. There's an Evolving Wilds, which could theoretically help us splash for our Electrify. But I don't think that's super necessary. We've got Blighted Bat and Unwavering Initiate. And Horror of the Broken Lands, who has cycling. I keep passing cards with cycling, and eventually I'm going to be in trouble without any or very little of cycling. I think I still want to take another Initiate. Yeah, now we have no cycling in our colors. Spearmaster or Dune Beetle? I guess I'll take a Spearmaster. But if I don't have to play Festering Mummy, I feel pretty good about that. Same with Watchers of the Dead. But we definitely want some cycling. We have one card that triggers Archfiend right now. Okay, now we take cycling over another zombie because we have both Wander in Death and Wasteland Scorpion. I'm leaning towards a Scorpion. We do have one big bomb in our Archfiend, but there's not a lot of other cards that it's going to feel great to get back from our graveyard. So I'm going to go with a Scorpion, who can also trade. And getting him, yeah, and if you actually cast him, he can trade, and that's pretty good. Gideon's Intervention isn't terrible. I don't know if I would mainboard it, but it's certainly a strong sideboard card. I think it's what I take here. So we didn't get the black-white gold card, but we got 2 zombie lords and 1 time to reflect, and that seems pretty good to me. Not to mention 2 Inokhetra's names. Okay, we don't just want to play this because it has cycling, unfortunately. He's pretty good if we were black-red. We'll probably just take Vizier of Remedies. I don't know if it'll make our deck, but it's a fine card. Come on, Jeru's Resolve, come back to me. It's not a card I like usually, but with an Archfiend, I think I want it. There it is. It came back. There's also Supernatural Stamina, but this is also a combat trick, although I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Supernatural Stamina. The fact that it has cycling makes them closer to being equal in this particular deck. So we have 3 ways of triggering our Archfiend now. We have lots of ways of pumping our whole board and a ton of creatures, which is, you know, always good. I end up just cutting the Spearmaster because we're looking for some synergy. There's another Those Who Serve. Another Festering Mummy. Kind of feel like I'm more likely to play another Those Who Serve, but I don't think it's going to make the cut anyway. Ooh, and now Unburden. Okay, we picked up some decent late cycling that I think makes the cut. So that's nice. We have 4 ways of triggering our Archfiend now, which is good since we had 0 about halfway through this pack. So all things considered, I will take it. And a Horror of the Broken Lands. Okay. Works for me. Works for me. We're going to have to do some trimming. We probably don't need Sparring Mummy anymore. Ooh, Dune Beetle for my sideboard is appealing. Trespasser's Curse is not. So we just need to cut 3 cards from this. We got to count through our zombies to make sure that Time to Reflect is still worth playing. But I think we have enough of them. So... none of you are zombies. None of you are zombies. Zombie. Zombie. Turns into a zombie eventually, at least. Turns into a zombie. 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 Also a zombie. Also a zombie. Turns into a zombie. Turns into a zombie. Zombie. And turns into a zombie. So... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we have 12-ish zombies. Not all of them are always zombies. So I think Time to Reflect, though, is still going to be a reasonable card. Yeah. I could think about cutting Sacred Cat. I don't have any great love for that card. And we still have plenty of zombies if I do that. So I think I'm okay with losing a Sacred Cat. It definitely gets better, though, when you have 2 Lords of the Accursed, I guess. But we could instead cut, like, Vizier of Remedies and keep it in our sideboard against people who are playing ways to put -1/-1 counters on my creatures. Do we need Trial of Solidarity that much anymore? Yeah, I think we'd rather have it and cut 1 Inokhetra's Name. Trial of Solidarity for 1 more mana gives the same bonus to my whole team plus Vigilance that Inokhetra's Name gives. Now, granted, Inokhetra's Name is an instant, and that's very relevant, but that's kind of my rationale for cutting it there. You could think about cutting Grim Strider. He's not awesome. Our curve is relatively low, so keeping our hand low isn't going to be super hard, though. But would I rather cut him and have another zombie? Maybe. We also have another Those Who Serve. if we'd rather have another one of those instead of Grimstrider. Yeah, I think I would rather have another Those Who Serve. We have enough zombie payoffs that I think it's worth it. And I like Those Who Serve more than I like Sparring Mummy. We have one creature with Exert, so certainly not exciting. All right, well, I think this is our black-white zombie deck. Lord of the Accursed should be pretty dang good. We'll just have to see. We need to add our lands, of course. And we're much more white than black, but 9/8 is probably about right. You know, not being able to play the Archfiend is something that could be really painful, but we have way more white cards. We have 2 double black cards, but one of them I'm probably going to be cycling the majority of the time anyway. So I think this is fine. You know, by the time we can play the Archfiend, hopefully we have double black, I guess. But this is definitely going to it definitely looks like a fun zombie deck, and I will see you guys in the first match. Look at this beautiful hand we have in our first match of an Amonkhet draft. Obviously, we're sending that one back. Okay, this one is much better. You don't really want Unburden at this point. We're going to get to play Edifice of Authority. I'll probably play it on turn 3, and then the next turn I can play Anointer Priest and activate it. Not too much trouble. Ooh, that's a scary thing to have to see this early. It's very good at ramping and fixing. Haven't gotten to draft one myself yet, and it just turns into a huge creature eventually. It's almost like a flip card, you know, like from the Innistrad blocks, where early on it produces mana, and then if you produce this much mana, transform it, because it turns into a 3/4, I think. Yeah, that makes sense since it has 3 counters on it. But my opponent already has 4 mana, so that's not awesome. Okay, well, he's just playing a Watchful Naga. Since my opponent did that, I kind of feel like I need to play a second Anointer Priest so that I can at least kill that in combat. Now I'll just play Those Who Serve. And in my turn. Because we don't really want our opponent to be drawing extra cards off of that. I can tell you that. Next turn we can play the Edifice and have it keep this from being able to attack. I can even turn off activated abilities of this thing once I get the Edifice into play. Okay, so opponent going wide, but none of the cards they're playing are that concerning to me. Okay, so I think we play the Edifice and start building up the brick counters. We're not under that much pressure, so that seems fine to me. We'll make it so Watchful Naga can't attack. All right, so let's keep Watchful Naga from attacking. Okay, opponent's ending their turn. My opponent has 2 cards in their hand, which makes me want to play Miasmic Mummy and discard this Plains. Yeah, I'm going to do it. We don't have anything that has double white. We just have double black. All right, we got an Electrify, which is sort of surprising. Because that my opponent didn't just cast it in response. What that probably means is the other card in their hand is really, really scary. So let's keep that in mind, because if you're going to discard a premium-ish, it's maybe not quite premium, but a very good removal spell, you got to have something really good in your hand that you didn't want to discard. A bomb of some kind, probably. Good news is we can shut down most bombs unless it's the big alligator, in which case we're in some trouble. So we're going to make Watchful Naga unable to attack again. Okay, Lord of the Accursed is quite good, obviously. So I'm going to play him. So now you're 3/5, and I can give zombies menace. Still don't really think we have any good attacks. Our opponent's board is too wide. But soon we'll be able to start triggering Edifice of Authority's more powerful half, which means they can't attack or block for a whole turn. White mana. What's happening? Dusk till dusk? Dusk till dawn? I don't know. Greater Sandworm. Okay. Well, that's pretty annoying, but we can, of course, shut it down, too. With our Edifice every turn. We can't attack through it, though, very well. We can once we play our Binding Mummy and start playing other zombies. I think I want to play my Binding Mummy next for that reason. So I can shut this down as a blocker or attacker for a whole turn. Can't attack or block, and its activated abilities cannot be activated. So let's shut down that guy. You know, now that I did that, it's like, what was the point? I mean, it's what I was going to take away the ability to attack from anyway, but I don't really have great attacks right this second, unless I could give my guys menace. So, yeah, probably should have waited to do that at least, but it's whatever. Vizier of Tumbling Sands would be pretty fun with Edifice of Authority. I kind of want these guys to all die now because they're going to get bonuses and tap down one of my opponent's creatures. Okay, they need double blue for something apparently. Probably a big flyer of some kind. Yep. Angler Drake, even worse than your typical big blue flyer. Because it's also going to bounce something. I don't know what. Yeah, Lord of the Accursed, I guess. That makes sense. Okay. So I can tap one of these down. So I shall. And I'll make this unable to attack or block. The problem is my opponent can set up double blocks. Well, and actually this guy's big enough now that I can just block anything. But yeah, so we can't really do anything. His Angler Drake's going to be able to start attacking me too. We need our Archfiend, basically. Don't have any cards with cycling yet, but he is a huge flyer. Still dies in combat to the Drake, though. All right. Jeru's Resolve. That doesn't really do anything for me right this moment. I think I'm just going to play another of those who serve. And I probably should have left white up just in case I wanted to use Jeru's Resolve, but I don't think I do. Yeah, I'm just going to end my turn. We'll make the sandworm unable to attack or block. Take another 4 in the air. Great. Yeah, our opponent went too big, too fast on us in this first game. That is for sure. This Channeler Initiate really set our opponent up to mess us up. I'm going to play this Unwavering Initiate. And I will end my turn. Okay. I'm actually going to go with Angler Drake here because I'm just going to chump block with my... Well, I could even try to take down the Sandworm. It's not the worst plan. He can only kill one creature if I triple block it with Binding Mummy into those who serve. So that's pretty good. Still has a 6/5, by the way. So we can kill it in combat too, though. Okay, well, that is good news. Gives us time to draw our not Angler Drake, I wish, but our Archfiend, who we can then cycle and will really weaken this board. Of course, it'll let our opponent add more mana with that thing, but, you know, it's whatever. Play my Anointer Priest. And in my turn. Basically what we're waiting on. We're drawing our good removal spell. Okay, yeah, we're just both building up these stupid boards, but not actually. Hello. That's what I'm looking for. I can't use it right away. So if our opponent has removal, it's going to hurt. Should I wait until I can cycle Jero's Resolve in the same turn? It's not the worst plan. But we're going to go ahead and cast him. And end our turn. How many cards of cycling are left in our deck? All of them, right? Except for the one in our hand? Yeah, so we still have 4 other cyclers in our deck, too. Oh god, Sandworm Convergence. This is a good ramp deck. That's like one of the best things you can ramp into. Gross. Okay. That's bad because our creatures on the ground can still attack, it's worth noting, but you know, that's not great still. Okay, we did draw another card with cycling, so that's pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle Jero's Resolve here. Blow up some of my opponent's board. Trial of Solidarity, you say? Isn't that interesting? I think maybe I want to hold off on playing it, though. I want to have a turn where I can give all my guys Menace and cast Trial of Solidarity. So, yeah, I'm going to cycle this too. Oh, that's filthy that we drew into another cycler. Okay, well. We'll be happy to blow up more of our opponent's board. Okay, so now we have some attractive attacks. Yes, so I think we can attack with both of these. I can attack with my Initiate too without too much concern about him. And the Miasmic Mummy, I think. One thing's for sure, though. We don't want to lose too many creatures because of our Trial of Solidarity. I think I just attack with my two Those Who Serve. Yeah. So drawing into all those cyclers at once, which was stupid and lucky, could actually make it so we can beat Sandworm Convergence with the help of our Trial. Okay, we're going to get in for that 6, which is great. And we'll end our turn. So unless our opponent draws something awesome, we can play Trial of Solidarity, just swing with everybody, and not feel too bad about it. Okay, yeah, he's doing that, which is fine. He does have more mana on this Channeler Initiate now. Like I said, sort of gave him a bonus. Okay, so there is a new worm token. All right, so I think we cast Trial of Solidarity and give all of our zombies Menace. I can actually attack first and then give them all Menace thanks to Vigilance. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. We also want to make it so that can't block, incidentally. All right, so we're going to go... And then give every zombie Menace. Our Archfiend can't attack because of the Sandworm Convergence. He's got to lose basically his whole board to survive here. So I feel pretty good about it. We'll lose a lot less, and we have 3 creatures with Embalm. So okay. Yeah, we got there. A ridiculous series of draws of drawing every card with cycling in our deck, basically. We did draw them all, right? We drew Jarrow's Resolve, Unburden, Wasteland Scorpion, and Horror of the Broken Lands. We played the Scorpion... No, we didn't play it early, I don't think. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, so can you name worm tokens with a card like Gideon's Intervention? I have to look that up real quick. So it has to be a card, so that won't work. Seems like Amonkhet's name is going to be pretty good in this matchup because we end up in those board stalls, and having another way to pump my whole team seems pretty good. Trespasser's Curse, I guess, sort of works. Oh, we didn't draw Unburden, actually. Excuse me. We didn't draw all of our cycling cards. Just most of them. What to cut? Is it just like an Anointer Priest? Or a Mummy? The Mummy does give us another way to trigger our Archfiend, though. I don't know. We probably already have enough ways to pump our whole team between 2 Lord of the Accursed, Talk Crop Elite, and Trial of Solidarity, and 1 Amonkhet's name. We're probably okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, this is kind of an awkward hand. Is it a keep? Maybe. Yeah, I think it is. We have 2 of 3 really good cards in our deck. We just have to hope we don't draw lands and that we draw some more zombies. Okay, Washer Cultivator it is. Well, there's a land. Opponent probably sided in Enchantment Hate. Artifact Hate, rather. Not Channel or Initiate on turn 2 again. We barely survived that last time. Okay. I probably play... Depends what our opponent plays, but I probably play Wasteland Scorpion this turn and then play Edifice and start putting counters on it next turn. Although there's something to be said about playing Lord of the Accursed, because then I can use Time to Reflect. Right now our opponent doesn't have creatures who are really a threat anyway, but, you know. They could play one that I just want to trade with. Okay, opponent just ramping, which is a little scary, because we know they have Sandworm Convergence. And last time they played it, we had built up quite a board presence, so it wasn't quite as concerning. This time we're not doing that. Yeah, I'm going to play Lord of the Accursed here. Yeah, and we didn't pick up any white enchantment hate, sadly. Didn't see the Destroy Target Artifact or Enchantment card. If I did, I missed it. Didn't think about it at the time. Has Cycling, too, in white. So it would have gone well. Alright, so they are definitely ramping here. I just hope they don't have Sandworm Convergence in their hand, because if they played early, we are basically dead. We're as good as dead. Alright. Yeah, they might already have it in their hand as hard as they're ramping right here. They already have 1, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, they have enough mana to play it next turn. Frighteningly. So we could be in for some trouble here. I can turn off... Oh, no, I can't. Not until it's activated all the way. But we'll play our Edifice here. Oh, yeah, we don't want to use it yet. We'll end our turn. Sandworm Convergence. I think if they play it, we just scoop to save ourselves some time. Because they're going to have played it so quickly that we just can't do anything. Looks likely. And yeah, we're just done. There's no way for us to beat that at this without our board already being developed like it was in the last game. Why didn't I pick up Destroy Target Enchantment? I guess I could play this and name Sandworm Convergence. I kind of hate doing that, but that card is so powerful and our opponent seems to get it enough for me to just want to say Sandworm Convergence. Get it out of the way. Yeah, let's lose an Anointer Priest and side that in. You know, there's a chance they never even draw the card, and that's when Gideon's Intervention looks really bad. But I've had enough of Sandworm Convergence. Okay, this is a fine hand. It's not a great one, but it's an okay one. I wouldn't mind drawing Unburden either. Like, that would be a good way to deal with Sandworm Convergence. We just haven't drawn it yet. We'd probably play this Mummy on turn 2 and just discard a Plains. Yeah, we're going to play the Mummy, give ourselves an early 2-drop, and discard a Plains. I'm sure our opponent also discards a land, but it's whatever. That's one less land they have to cast Sandworm Convergence. These last 2 games, we have not seen very many creatures in our opening hands, and that has been not so good. And we can't draw into them either. Cycling, they're cycling land, okay. Ooh, they must be stuck on 2 lands? That seems crazy, though, because they've discarded 2 lands. Yeah, they are. Good for, luckily for them, though, we can't draw any action. So, it's as if we have 4 creatures in our deck right now, which our opponent knows we don't. They saw in game 1, so they're probably relieved. We do have 2 removal spells, though. Do we get another creature to pressure our opponent with? Nope. This is really bad. The good, you know, it's going to make this more of a real game, because if I'd actually been developing my board this whole time, my opponent would just be dead. I could cycle Jero's Resolve, and I'm seriously considering it, especially if my opponent misses another land drop here. Yeah, I'm going to cycle it and try to hit some more action. It's time. Okay, well. Doesn't look very good right now because of the fact, wow. They just discarded Sandworm Convergence too, so I don't even have anything worth naming. We'll probably just hold on to it till we can name a permanent in play and get some value that way. I'm flooding out basically, and our opponent is landless. They did finally draw their third land. Yeah, we probably just... I'm just going to kill that thing because we don't really want our opponent to be able to ramp. Hey, there are other creatures in my deck. How about that? We have time to reflect to get rid of like a big scary creature. And we can name... Okay. Ooh, that was good. Good draw after a series of ugly ones. Because now I can attack with my guys. Without any fear. He's just going to go to 4. Okay. That works for me. Yeah, we won. That was one of the ugliest game 3s ever. Between my opponent's mana screw and my inability to draw more than one creature for like 6 turns. But a win's a win. I'll see you guys in the next match. Hello everyone, we're going to the second match of an Amonkhet draft. We are 1-0. We would like to play first. I think this is probably a keep. These cyclers make it more keepable than it would otherwise be. So like if we flood out, we can just pitch one of them and try to find some more action. And we have a 2-drop, so seems decent. Okay, we will play a land. Sacred Cat, huh? Well, I'll play my Binding Mummy then. Okay, I think I play Miasmic Mummy here. Discard one of my planes. And we're going to tap down Gustwalker so that my Binding Mummy can attack. Okay, we both discarded planes. We both look to be zombie decks. All right. We will take 3 in the air. Ooh. We do have 2 of them, but our Lord of the Accurseds have been kind to us. For sure. Tap down Sacred Cat. Attack with both these mummies. Does one of them eat Impeccable Timing? No. This isn't going to untap, so we have the potential to have a pretty gross turn with Menace next turn, should we choose to do that. Especially if we draw another zombie and just tap down one of our opponent's guys. If he attacks with a cat, I would just take it. There's no way I would ever block it. Okay. We're getting to the point where casting Unburden is actually pretty attractive. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm really luck sacking this draft today. We'll see how long it lasts, but so far we have been very lucky. when our luck was bad, like in our game 3 in our last match, our opponents was even worse. So there you have it. All right. Goes to 6. Play another land. Okay, I'm going to give all my zombies menace. Funnily enough, that includes that one. And I'm going to attack with them all. I can use Jeru's Resolve in a double block situation if I have to here. Or to stop impeccable timing even. I also could have used this and untapped it and attacked, but I think this is fine. Well, that would be lethal damage. Let's see what our opponent's plan is here. You gain 1 life, but you're still losing 8 life. Okay, then we're going to do this. And still kill the Gustwalker. Yeah, our opponent just scoops. All right. Well, that worked. With a ridiculous draw, that's no big surprise, I guess. I don't really think I want to change anything else. We didn't see -1/-1 counters or anything, so yep. Okay, this is an interesting hand, mostly because we don't have any black mana. We do have 2 cards that cycle, 3 actually, but I won't be able to cycle one of them. But I think it's a mulligan since we're on the draw. This is much better. Yeah, sure, I'll take a land. Why not? I will play Binding Mummy. Opponent cycles Renewed Faith. Wouldn't have minded one of those. Really wouldn't have minded the cycle card that makes zombie tokens. That's where it's at. Okay, I'm just gonna play Anointer Priest here and pass. Since True Hard Duelist can just come back, it doesn't seem like the greatest of plans to try to trade with it. Okay, there's our opponent's Binding Zombie. Mummy. Binding Mummy. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to play Top Crop Elite here. At a minimum, it can start attacking our opponent in the air. If our opponent goes down to 2 cards here, I think I just fire off Unburden. They did not, though. I could still think about it, though. Okay, we got a zombie, which is relevant. Lets me tap down, I guess, True Hard Duelist. We're not going to attack with anyone on the ground anyway. Let's be real. So, let's just attack in the sky. We could have a sequence of turns at some point where we want to use Top Crop Elite 2 turns in a row, and we can do that with the help of Jeru's Resolve. Now do they go down to 2 cards for me to unburden them of? Ooh. Okay, well, they played a better flyer. So our flying plan is no longer a go. But yeah, we're going to cast Unburden here. Empty our opponent's hand. Okay, just casting Jero's Resolve to cast it. Well, oh, I'm glad we got rid of both of those. They are good combat tricks that I would not be super thrilled to deal with. I'm thinking about attacking with everything and using the Exert here. I think that is what I'm going to do. All right, you can't say attack with all creatures. You have to. Yeah, he can block 2 creatures, but he can still only do 2 damage, and that's not going to be enough to kill anybody. I exerted this, right? Hold on. I'm just double checking. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing our opponent did and prevent all damage dealt to my guy. Okay, we're going to hold on to this card to bluff. We're both basically in top deck mode. Our opponent does have an Embalmer in his graveyard, though. So, let's just say worst case scenario, he could just Embalm. So. Ooh, that's gross. I untapped it, but now it's going to stay tapped. So, not so good for us. I'm going to tap down True Heart Duelist. And I'm going to attack with Those Who Serve. Is it also worth it to attack with Binding Mummy? I don't think so. Oh, it wasn't really worth it to attack with that either, so go me. Yeah, we take 6 in the skies. Land. Okay. We end our turn. We take 3 in the skies. I think it's probably going to be better to cycle that because we're just so close to dead if we... Yeah, we're just going to cycle it. We need to draw Final Reward or something. We still have another turn to try to find it, sort of, but not really. Right. Yeah, we'll take it. All right, well, seems our really luckiness is balancing itself out now. Okay. This just lets me loot. Well, I guess with Archfiend of Ifnir, that's not the most terrible thing. But it is kind of clunky. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we have that's worth putting in. I would like to play first. We have a cycler if we can't seem to hit a third land before turn 3, so I think I'm going to keep this. It's not anything super exciting, but at least we can dump this. Like if we don't have a land next turn, that's what we're going to do, is just dump it. Except now we can actually play something, so we'll do that instead. Okay, we did draw a third land. I'm going to play Those Who Serve. We don't have our black mana, unfortunately, so that part's not so good. I'm going to play another Those Who Serve in my turn. Whoever gets their big flyer first probably wins. Okay. There's black, so that's good. I'm going to play Fanbearer. Sort of our second Edifice of Authority. Is this a good Trial of Solidarity turn? I don't really think it is. I think being able to tap down Dune Beetle will make it a much better turn. It would be nice to also have mana up for Time to Reflect, so... All right. The guy's so obnoxious with his ability to block 2 creatures. Now that's probably what I would tap down to have an aggressive turn. I think I'm going to cycle my Unburden. And... yeah, in my turn. Did not draw anything of note there. We need our zombie lords. Okay, well, that's obnoxious. Tap down the duelist. Final reward, huh? So we have final reward plus Time to Reflect. It's not too bad. Trial of Solidarity basically just makes it so these guys can attack really well. And yeah, I can exile a creature, but it's not going to do a whole lot at this point. I can exile 2 creatures, in fact, but it's not going to do a whole lot at this point. So... for now, yeah, I'm just going to end my turn. Hold up final reward. Is our opponent about to play their own final? Ooh. Glad I held up final reward. Our opponent's deck is very similar to ours. Goodbye, Archfiend of Ifnir. We haven't drawn ours in this match. We drew it the one match, though, where it was completely ridiculous. We can cast him now, too. But I think for now, we just pass the turn. Oh, come on, man. Did to us what we did to him in the last game. Unburdening us of our last 2 cards. I'm actually not going to tap anything. Yeah, our luck is evening out now. Drawing lands in crunch time is never a good feeling. There's his other big flyer. We can shut it down this time, though, with Fanbearer at least. Still gonna tap him down for right this second. Okay, all right. Now we can shut down 2 creatures, which should buy us a lot of time. Okay, well, now we know the 2 creatures we're going to need to be shutting down in combat. I'm going to let the other ones attack if they want to. Okay. Hello. There's our Archfiend. How about that? We have already cycled 1 card. That means we have 4 left in our library, plus our Miasma Mummy. Of course, we have to have a card in our hand for our Miasma Mummy to do its thing. So, yeah. So, I'm going to say that you can't attack. And I'm going to tap you down. There it is. Our zombie lord. We have Gustwalker to worry about now, but doesn't worry me that much. You also don't worry me anymore, though. So I guess I do tap down. I do make Gustwalker unable to attack. Yeah. Because right now I can block the other stuff. I'm going to tap down the Oketra's Attendant so it can't attack me. Okay. Okay, we got our Miasma Mummy. I think I'm actually going to hold on to it so that I can discard a card and weaken my opponent's whole board in the near future. I'm going to attack with Archfiend. And I'm going to end my turn. Ooh, our opponent is flooding, and we have all kinds of mana sinks. Ooh, I just screwed that up because I was excited. Opponent can get in for some damage here, but I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, I mean, definitely shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but what are you going to do? Take 6, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's make it so you can't attack or block. And let us tap down Dune Beetle. Another Lord of the Accursed, so I'm definitely not going to be discarding. So I'd rather play another Lord of the Accursed. Okay, so what happens right now if I tap one creature down, make another one unable to attack or block, and give my whole team menace? So let's say these are, we'll tap him down, and so my opponent will only be able to block 2 creatures. He's got to take 5 in the air, and then he'll block these 2 4s. So it'll be 5, 6, 9. Not quite enough. So we're just going to attack with, it'll be enough next turn. We're just going to attack with our Archfiend of Ifnir. Right. And we're going to end our turn again. I think it's worth, I mean, he'll be a 4/4, sure. Our Miasmic Mummy will be, which is nice. But I think it's worth holding on to him for giving my opponent's whole board -1/-1. Okay, this time we're not going to forget to do this. Yeah, let's go with doing this to the Attendant. And I actually don't really need to tap down anybody else this turn. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do this. Make him discard whatever it is he has in his hand, which could be a trick. So I like that plan. While also weakening his whole board. It is a trick. What did he just use that on? I guess I'll see in a second. All right. So he gave that flying. Okay. And then so now my opponent can block still only, well, he'll be able to block 3 creatures counting this. Oh no, just 2 creatures. So this gets in for 5. Yeah, our opponent's dead. 2-0 so far with this zombie thing. Archfiend of Ifnir has been key, but Edifice of Authority has also been very good. And obviously, drawing these 2 guys, it's pretty hard to beat when we have this many zombies. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next match. All right, so going into the final match of an Amonkhet draft. We are 2-0, trying to go 3-0 and get another trophy. I think this hand's a keep since we're on the draw and we have a 2-drop. Worst case scenario, we could always cycle our Archfiend. Obviously, it's not ideal, but I think it's a keep. So if I was on the play, it would be a harder keep, but we're not, so no reason to worry about that. Okay, we drew a land, which is awesome. So we're going to play Anointer Priest, Lord of the Accursed. Our opponent is probably a green something or other deck that splashes a bunch of colors. Okay, well, it's something my Anointer Priest can block. So Anointer Priest is actually kind of overperformed for me. There are so many 2-mana 2/2s in this format that playing it on turn 2, it blocks, you know, fairly well. And then in the later game, you can get it out of your graveyard. I didn't think it was a bad card. I think I gave it, though, ooh, that is a little scary. A very fast curve out there. Well, not curve out, but It's basically the best thing you can do with 3 mana in this format that isn't, well, I guess this is a rare. But it's good is the point. What was I saying? Oh, I gave it a C- in my set review, Anointer Priest. And I think it's more just like a solid C because I've had it be perfectly solid. So I think what I'm going to do here is play those who serve and plan on playing the Lord of the Accursed next turn and making it so those who serve can just block it. Which does mean we probably just take 2 here. I mean 4 here. We could double block the Serpopard. Which, by the way, is apparently a real thing in Egyptian mythology. I just thought Wizards was losing their mind after giving us cat monkeys in the last set. But apparently Serpopards are a real thing. Well, a real mythical thing. So that's kind of weird. Okay, cycling away. That is such a good card, but doesn't seem like it should be. Just because, I mean, it's a 6-drop that can do stuff all game long. So if he attacks with this, I think I'd just take it. He didn't. The reason I was just going to take it, though, is because there's so many tricks in these colors that there's a very good chance we get our faces ripped off. So I'm going to leave up mana for Time to Reflect and play Lord of the Accursed. And in my turn, obviously. We have Archfiend of Ifnir ready to go next turn, which is awesome. I wouldn't mind somebody else eating a removal spell in the meantime. Okay, just a big dude. Just a big dude. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think we just play the Archfiend and say, can you do anything about that? It's a decent chance they can, but... Electrify can kill him, for example. I just take Colossopede. Definitely does not seem to be worth the risk to block it. If I had mana for Time to Reflect, I would. Because one really gross thing you can do with this is declare blocks, and then they play a trick on their Colossopede. Stop playing all these huge creatures. Jeez. Red-green monsters for real. That's what we're looking at. We really need to draw a card with cycling. That's our dream here. Some cycling. Not cycling, but reasonable. And a better blocker than most of my other creatures are at this point. I'm going to attack with my... Archfiend of Ifnir. Get in for 5. And then I'm going to play Unwavering Initiate. I want to leave mana up for Time to Reflect, so I'm not also going to play an Anointer Priest. And I'll end my turn. So the Initiate can effectively block either of these, which is awesome. And then come back as a 4/3 with Vigilance because of our Lord of the Accursed. Our board is pretty fragile, though. If our opponent fires off an Electrify on our Archfiend, we are suddenly not so good. Okay. That is going to complicate using Time to Reflect this turn, because I'm assuming he's going to make those who serve unable to block. It doesn't complicate it that much. I can still block with Lord of the Accursed and then use Time to Reflect. It's just not going to feel as good. Okay. So, let's see what our opponent does here. I guess you're strictly better, but it doesn't really make a difference. You might have a way to remove this -1/-1 counter, so... oh, yeah, also this. See what our opponent does, if they have a trick or something. Now, if they give him hexproof or something right now, okay, good, they did not. And it looks like the other guys are also dying, so that definitely went our way. We are at 8, incidentally, but it's still, I still think it went our way. We're going to gain a little bit of life. Okay, they just gave us that one. I mean, they were really far behind on board, and I was about to draw Edifice of Authority, so yeah, we were in great shape. All right. Will we 3-0 with zombies? Maybe. Sacred Cat doesn't seem bad in this matchup where my opponent has a bunch of big dumb guys who don't have trample, and I can block twice with the Sacred Cat. So I think I might actually bring that in. Question is, what do I cut for it? Maybe one of my Those Who Serve, but they've been pretty good. I mean, once they become 3/5s, they are difficult to deal with. I guess we could go with Miasmic Mummy. He's nothing incredible. He does trigger Archfiend, but I think Sacred Cat's actually pretty good with a bunch of 5/5s and 6/4s who can't trample. All right, well, we got turn 1 Sacred Cat too. This is a solid keep. No zombies, but they can all be embalmed, so you know, you can turn into zombies. What usually happens with Sacred Cat, and the reason I don't love the card, is you can play it on turn 1, and that's great, but basically every 2-drop in the format can profitably block it. See if our opponent has one. No, they didn't, so we are actually going to get in for 1. Gaining a bit of life doesn't seem bad either, because our opponent quickly brought us down to 8 in that last game, and then just had a terrible exchange thanks to our time to reflect. Wow, they're having a much slower start, which I can't say is a bad thing. We're going to attack, and then we're going to play Unwavering Initiate. This is like our Embalm hand here. It's too bad we didn't have this 2-drop last turn, but what are you going to do? Okay, Trial of Zeal, probably killing my Unwavering Initiate, I guess. Yeah. We know our opponent has cartouches, so that could get ugly. Sacred Cat has provided 6 points of swing. And I'm going to play another Unwavering Initiate. Opponent probably plays like a Colossus now, and we can't do much about that at this point, yeah. Yes, he does. We drew our Archfiend, though. Do we play it? I think we play it and say, can you do anything about that? Just like we did last game. Okay, pass our turn. Take a Colossopede to our face, probably. If we're lucky, that's all I want to happen. I don't want Electrify or something to take down my Archfiend. That is for sure. We didn't see Electrify in the last game. Wow, opponent just scooped. Yeah, the Archfiend was awesome, and we had an incredibly lucky draft. Don't get me wrong. We drew our Archfiend mini a game. We drew our 2 Zombie Lords mini a game, but that was a pretty sweet zombie deck, thanks to the 2 Zombie Lords, especially. And it was a lot of fun to play with. So 3-0 it is. We do get another trophy, so that's nice to have. And I will be back again next week here on the Aether Hub with another Amonkhet draft. You can also catch Amonkhet drafts over on my channel on NizzahonMagic. I do one every week there, one every week here. And if you want to make sure you catch a bunch of other great content here on the Aether Hub, you should subscribe. You've got Seibenlore videos, Planeswalker projects, Commander videos, and a whole lot more. So just go ahead and subscribe and check it out. And if you enjoyed this particular video, go ahead and like it. In the comments, let me know what you thought of this deck, the decisions I made, and the picks I made. So thanks for watching.